Hello again. This is a series of topics, themes, and discussions for Annapurna Pluriversities. This is Professor Pramod Parajuli. In this session, I want to introduce a sub theme called Motion of Capital. How the Homo sapiens sapien invented this idea of a currency, dollar, pound, rupees, right, peso, whatever we call it, the gold standard, and how everybody accepted that this is the form of exchange of value of our labor, of our natural resources, and of all the banks and whatever happens in the, so that is one of the, and how do we explain it? I would like to use the word enigmatic. This whole thing is almost like an enigma. And here I develop work from political geographer, economic geographer called David Harvey, who also says that this how this happens, how the dollar moves all over the world and creates a system of exchange of value and labor is nothing less than enigmatic. And it is so flexible, it is so dynamic, it is so pernicious, it is so pervasive. This is fascinating. So we will, in a series of maybe 4 to 5, 7 series, we will look into the root of this abstraction of value from real value, right, the use value, to the exchange value in the medium, in the form of the dollar or the rupees or the currency. And in another session, I will like to elaborate and explore how this currency, the money currency, the dollar currency, the rupees currency, is detrimental to the life currency, which becomes very, very obvious after 2019 COVID, which I have been explaining and will be explaining more in different ways, when the combined climate and coronavirus disruptions create conditions completely detrimental to the idea of this, the dollar currency, the value of currency value. And now we need to really look for the currency of life. And that is, will again, in the regenerative thinking phase, which I put it around 2017, 2019, that after that, we need to we begin to question the value of currency, the dollar currency value, kind of interrogate it through the currency of life. Again, the indicators now become, is the river, the water system, the waterways, the watershed running is how a life of a river and a water system should be running, or it is disrupted? Is the forest running how it should be running, or is it disrupted? Is the soil working and running, the soil economy, let's say, as it should be, by enhancing the crops, enhancing itself, its own life through soil carbon, right? Or is it disrupted and is it becoming harmful? Everything now will be interrogating what the currency, dollar currency, that the human invented to operate itself, is it now disrupting, becoming harmful to the life currency, and what is happening to the market? So what you will see in this process is the dissolution of that empire of confidence of the currency, the dollar currency, interrogated by the currency of life, And now we need to rebuild the energy, the velocity, the flow of currency of life, or the edifice of the market economy, currency, the dollar currency world is disproving itself. We might just be losing life. And if there is no life and there is only money in the bank, we cannot eat that money, that dollar, right? We need to eat real food. Fascinating kind of a crossroad we have come to. And one of the session I will be explaining with the help of a philosopher, current philosopher called George Dillard, which explains one of the weirdest commodity, how in the dollar currency world called ice, the ice cubes, the blocks of ice, at one point before at the end of the 18th century, before the First World War, that is 1914 to 16, right, or 18, the blocks of ice were taken from the lakes of US and UK to India, that is 8,000 miles away, in those ships going through Cape Town of South Africa. But there was an impetus for someone to find that lake, like the frozen lake, and then take the snow, the top of the snow away, right, with human labor and a little bit of machinery, and then break those, which all pictures are there, fascinating. Same thing we can think about tea, same thing we can think about coffee, like the life system of a commodity. Same thing we can think about apple or orange. You see how fascinating the currency, the dollar currency was operating, right? And that is why the system, I find it very, very enigmatic, and how the Homo sapiens sapien, ourselves and our ancestors, begin to completely buy into that system. And now, in the regeneration phase, in the regenerative studies, regenerative learning, regenerative leadership that I am also very involved in, we are questioning that very logic of abstracting the real value of human labor and nature into that form of dollar and money. And now, what will be the new form of exchange then? Is that if the river runs like a river, that is the wealth. If the forest operates like a forest with all the mushrooms and the mycelial network under its feet, that is the wealth. So we are entering into a completely new phase of redefining what wealth is, what welfare is, what well-being is. Fascinating. And in the story of the enigmatic of capital, I will bring my own story in one of the sessions. Is that I was born and raised in one of the remote villages in Nepal in the Himalayan foothills. And just when I was about 5 years young, a very enigmatic thing happens. That is, a British system opens a school in my village so that the people they used to hire for working as the British Gurkhas, the army mercenaries, they want those young people to have reading, writing, arithmetic, and they figure out through the discipline called economics of education that if they would open a school in each of these recruiting villages in the foothills, Himalayan foothills of Nepal, they would get those young people, almost like 16 to 18-year-old, my fellows in the village, and not me, but when the school opened, I also got enrolled into the school. And look at my trajectory. In one session I will explain, and that is actually, it was not to educate Pramod, Parajuli, that the school was open. It was to give preliminary reading, writing and arithmetic skills and knowledge to those who will be recruited by the British Army, Indian Army, and I happened to join that school, and that led me to learn English and then go to Kathmandu, do my higher education, and go all the way to Stanford and become a professor, on and on. Again, part of the enigmatic drama of currency of dollar and currency of life. And we are at that very, very crossroads and fascinating time to look back into how we evolved, what drama we played into, how it is now disrupted, and as I have been saying, this is a wake up call. The combined climate and coronavirus's disruption is a wake up call. It's a crisis multiplier, as we are seeing all over right now in April 2025, right? Everything is upside down. We do not know what is exactly happening, but it could also be an opportunity multiplier to bring back the currency of life system, which was dismantled, disrupted, through a harmful relationship because we pursued the currency of dollar and other currencies rather than the currency of life. So through several sessions illustrating in detail the enigmatic motion of capital. I will not talk too much about capitalism, that is the belief system which is behind all this, but more how it operated at the expense of currency of life and how we could bring back the real wealth, that is currency of life and life system. Thank you so much.